Hi everybody, Captain Bill Saiff III. On the back deck of the Saiff Charter 5, we are west of the Gannett nuclear plant today. Move right over here to the left. I got my old buddy Gary Bourgeois on the rod. We've been waiting. We've been hitting some really good fish here coming down here, and kind of went through a dry spot. We called as we got up on this next little point that's coming up that we should start to see some action. Really good pull on a weight rod right here down the starboard side of the boat. Captain Dave Zangari at the wheel, and Dave, that was a glow alewife, wasn't it?
Yeah, with a weight halfway up the line, yep.
Tell everybody, kind of got a mix in water. Why did you pick a glow alewife out of the box today to run on that weight rod?
They've been biting on green. It's got a green chartreuse or green strikes along the side. It shows up well in this water.
That glow, the glow pattern.
The glow pattern with the green, yep. So got some white on it too, so it stands out. Those fish can pick it out pretty well. Yeah,
a good dual purpose spoon. We'll go right back here. Comes the weight on the line. We're going to stay right over on the side with him, Gary, one more time. Dave, are we all the way down?
All the way down.
One thing that Gary's doing here, and I'll illustrate it here as soon as we take the weight off, just back right up for me, lower the rod tip. I'm going to take this split shot, big fish, Dave. I can feel the weight. Okay. Move right into that corner. Now we hit this weight rod that came in this rod holder right here on the side. Positioning is critical. We want to give ourselves the best opportunity to always catch these fish. You got a weight rod running right here down the port side and a full bank. So depending on which corner this fish comes from, we're going to work them into the spot at the corner of the boat that's most open. We've got at least 35 feet out to the first release, and we've got at least 20 feet, the width of the boat and the length of this rod, out to this weight rod. So by keeping Gary over in the starboard corner of this boat, break it to the right a little bit, Dave, we need to come out off this point. It's going to keep that fish from tangling and any of the other rods and giving us the best opportunity to catch him. Now he's coming in here to the business end, and we're going to explain some planer board principles to you here at the end of this, but we're going to try to stay right over the corner and get this fish. As you've seen us do a bunch of times, big brown, Dave, just a monster. Don't try to stop him. Easy. Neutral, Dave. Big old brown. Forward, Dave. Gary, I want you to put your rod tip to the left. Let's try to get him back over on this corner if we can. He's coming across the transom. That's it, Dave. You come out off the end of these pines. I'm going to stay live action on this fish because he is a dandy. Wind right down. If he wants to come to the middle, we'll try to kill him here in the middle. We can. Okay, wind down to him. Good. Neutral, Dave. Big old brown. Wind down to him again, Gary. Wind down. Okay, forward, Dave. Oh, he's going to come back. Excellent. Keep it in forward, Dave. Wind down to him, Gary. Lower rod. Step up the side of the boat so I can get between you and the fish. Easy, easy, easy. Neutral. Just a giant brown. Fish is right here at 7 feet, right beside the boat. He is absolutely crushing this rod. Keep him out away from the boat. Don't touch anything on those other rods. Neutral. Easy, stay here with me. We're going to get right to that bead chain. Wind down. Forward, Dave. Keep it right in gear. I'll try to get, we can see him glowing right here. A really good. Neutral, neutral, neutral. Dave. Wind down. Got him. Big brown. Stop winding. Strip me some line. Look at the tanker of a fish that is in this net. Holy smoke. Is he ever a dude? Giant brown. Get this guy in. Big boy right there. Look at that slab on the deck. There's that glow alewife, just a jumbie. Let me get him unhooked. Here it is, everybody. There's that glow alewife. You can see what Captain Dave Zangari was talking about. These green hash marks in the spoon are going to show up good in turbid water and this white belly edge, but you still got plenty of silver and plenty of black, and he really bent that stinger up pretty good on the strike. I bent it back into position. It was twice as bad as that, but let's take a look at this brown. He is just an absolute toad of a brown. Gary, you've been fishing with me a ton of times. We always talk technique. I mean, our whole discussion this morning coming down the shoreline has been what to do and when to do it. How was that brown?
He was a fighter. I've caught a lot of browns, but this has got to be right up there in the top 2.
Yeah, I mean, he would not give it up there at that side of the boat.
I didn't know if he had me or if I had him for a while.
Classic battle.
Look at the size of that.
Yeah, there it is. Picking exactly the right kind of spoon. Dual purpose spoon today that's going to work when water conditions vary a little bit. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, Bill.
That is a good one. Good call. Captain Dave Zangari putting that spoon on. That's the way it is on the back deck of the Saiff Charter 5 here, working the South Shore for big browns in April. Hi everybody, Captain Bill Saiff III. We're back at Brown Trout Lodge. We're enjoying a dirty martini, and we're talking about the events of the day. But here's the tip. You know, in today's video, we encountered an enormous number of big browns while we were fishing Lake Ontario today, and Gary Bourgeois was handling them perfectly. One of the reasons we were able to do that and not experience a single tangle during the course of the day is the positioning that we're talking about in the video. So what we're going to do, we're going to call this segment Going to the Chalkboard. What we're actually going to do is we're going to show you some of the principles behind this planer board technique. We're going to draw a boat right here. What you need to know about planer board fishing is as you make progress down Lake Ontario, the planer board line comes out to the planer board trolling in the water. Each one of them's beveled. It doesn't troll at exactly 90 degrees to the boat. It's not up here coming out in this position. It trails back to a degree. So we need to look at the physics and the geometry of how we're actually going down the shoreline. You hear me talking about how we change the set on our lines. A typical set would be to have 150 feet of line on the outside planer board rod, 140 on the middle rod, and 130 on the inside. So what we're doing, let's take a look at this now. If we put that line out, we're going to run the first rod in this position, we're going to run the second rod in this position, we're going to run the inside rod in this position. By coming out 150 feet, we're going to drop back to our spoon here. This is 150. Here is going to be 140. And the inside line is going to be 130. So the reason that we're running this pattern in this fashion is that when this 150 foot rod strikes, if you hold the rod high at the back of the boat and let the fish sweep, he's going to come to this section right here, straight behind the center of the boat. If we had a similar pattern set on this side, 150, 140, and 130, that means that this entire area here, we're going to call this the star, this area right here is the fish fighting area. That's going to represent about a 60 to 80 foot swath directly behind the boat that those fish are going to be able to be brought to the tail of the boat without tangling any lines. Now, because those planer boards are trolling back in the water, once we get to 130 foot, 150, 140, 130, all subsequent rods for the remainder of the day will be set at 130. Because the angle of attack is 45 degrees to those boards, even though all rods are at 134 feet, they will still sweep all the inside rods that are set between the board and the side of the boat without tangling. So all we really need to do is make sure that we give that fish enough time to sweep the planer board lines, and then we can bring them right straight up that 60 to 80 foot swath in the middle without tangling anything. The biggest mistake that people make when they're fishing planer boards is that this fish takes a strike right here at X, and they immediately start to crank the fish, which drags him across these other two lines, making a three-way knot on this side of the boat. Don't be anxious. Put enough pressure on the rod to keep the hook firmly set. let the fish sweep. Forward momentum is going to cause that fish to sweep to the center core area, and then you can work that fish up this fish fighting area. You can catch 30 to 40 browns during the course of the day and never experience a single tangle. The main thing is keep your composure, think about the physics, about what's actually happening during the course of the troll, and don't be over anxious. Let that fish sweep, then slow the boat down from 2.8, 2.9 knots to 2 knots. Work that fish to the back of the boat, net him, shift your rods back out the planer board, and reset underneath the fish that was just taken.